What's up everyone, Savage Gamer here, and this is my list of the top 10 most slept on PSVR2 games for 2025. In this video, I have compiled a list of what I feel are the best 10 games that just aren't receiving the recognition that they deserve. Games that aren't talked about enough or recommended enough. So you won't find any of the big major releases here, as we are all well aware of them. In fact, I've already most likely reviewed them all previously. No, here you will only see games that I feel are worthy of the praise that they never seem to get from the majority of the PSVR2 community. I'm making this video in the hope that it may bring some well-deserved interest onto those titles so that others may find the same enjoyment in them that I have. But before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button for me. It makes a huge difference, as I am a small channel and will only grow with your help in making it a success. For all of you who have already subscribed, well, you guys fucking rock. Now let's get this list going, starting with number 10. Starting off with number 10, we have Paint the Town Red VR. Paint the Town Red VR is such a wonderfully violent murder fest set within a voxel graphical style where you can unleash absolute carnage without shame. With several different levels to choose from, each run is a unique festival of blood and carnage combat. From prison yards to pirates, it is the ultimate violence simulator that is always such a demented joy to return to. With a wide array of weaponry, nearly everything is at your disposal to cause as much harm onto everyone else as quickly as you can. From swords, bats, throwing stars, guns, chairs, glasses, pool cues, nunchucks, or the good old-fashioned fisticuffs, the ability to destroy is nearly unlimited. The physics here all react just excellently, and nothing is more satisfying than just slicing off an opponent's legs or limbs or head and just watching them fall to the ground, collapsing, unable to defend themselves. I mean, there's just so much fun that you can have here playing with the physics and the different weaponry that it's just a brutal simulator. One of the most fun games on PSVR 2, hands down. Every time I jump into this, I just have a demented smile on my face, and I can't help it. And I'm pretty sure that you'll feel the same. If you haven't played it yet, you definitely need to. And this is one that you just cannot miss on PlayStation VR 2, and for great reason. I mean, just check this shit out. And number 9 is Ancient Dungeons, a procedurally generated VR dungeon crawler, where you have a couple different options to your approach, such as sword and throwable dagger, or crossbow and small knife as your weaponry. The developers have been hard at work for some time now to introduce new levels, weapons, and upgrade items into the game, which will hopefully be coming along very soon. I have spent hours into Ancient Dungeon VR, enjoying every single moment of it. This is a title that should be on everyone's radar, as its simplistic gameplay with a fairly wide variety is just a genuinely great time spent in VR. And at the end of each level, you will encounter a unique boss fight, which I really like because there's just not enough boss fights in VR games. So you'll have that to look forward to as well. And once you defeat the boss, you can move on to a completely different level. And it just is such a great game. Highly recommend to everyone. Make sure to buy this as soon as you can if you don't already own it. Okay, wrapping up the whole voxel type looking gameplay is number 8. This is the last voxel game, I promise. But this list just could not dismiss the rogue agent fantasy that is Compound VR. Compound VR has you playing the role of a total badass in this first-person shooter with its procedurally generated levels. Each playthrough feels unique, requiring you to combat all types of enemies, from humans to robots, drones, and even zombies, as well as other monsters, all while collecting and upgrading weapons to help annihilate any foes standing within your path. The ultimate goal here is to complete 3 full entire runs to truly beat the game, which even after about 30 hours that I've spent playing, I still have yet to accomplish that task. But damn, is it sure fun trying. But once you complete 3 full runs, and I think there's about 5 or 6 completely different design levels with each run, and you go through each level 3 times, which are different. They ramp up in difficulty. And then after you complete the 3rd level, the entire level design changes to something different. And you do that 3 times. And there's about 5 of those you go through. But you need to run through that whole system 3 full times altogether. And I think you can unlock a Gatling gun. But I'm not 100% on that, as I have not been able to complete that yet. The level of destruction and the physics and the reactions and just the powerfulness of the weapons here all feels fantastic. The AI is pretty comparable, and the level design itself is just great. I love everything about this game. I've had a ton of time spent into it. Always a treat and enjoyable. Make sure to pick this one up. And coming in at number 7 is The Last Worker. The Last Worker is such a unique single-player, story-driven campaign where you play as a cynical, somewhat depressed average Joe worker in a dystopic world filled with corporate greed and corruption, along with your antagonistic robot co-working chum. The Last Worker offers some very goofy tropes and callbacks and very unique different levels, although you'll spend the majority of your time within a warehouse doing your job, but you'll also venture outside of this to do several other different activities and progress along the story, and everything is just fun and unique and different. You won't play another game quite like it.
There he is, our first victim. You go get him. Boom.
The graphics and gameplay are all pretty great here, and while this is more of a one and done type of title, it's definitely an experience worth checking out, with a campaign that will take you approximately 6 to 8 hours to complete, as well as there is a physical edition, which I love physical games, but there is a physical PSVR2/PS5 version available if you prefer to add another great physical to your personal library.
Okay, one more.
Number 6 on this entry of the list is somewhat baffling to me, as it is a much larger, bigger budget, highly polished, and fully fleshed out game, that being Journey to Foundation, which unfortunately and unfairly, due to lack of sales, led to the closure of the development team at ArcX Studios. I also want you to take note, as I have no prior experience with Journey to Foundation ever before the VR game. Never watched the shows or read the books, and it didn't seem to matter too much, as I still understood what was going on and what it was that I needed to do. I may have not known some of the background lore, but nevertheless, it did not hinder my enjoyment of this title.
Smyrnian battle cruisers are nice. This thing inspires sonnets.
Please don't start spouting poetry.
I'll leave that to the professionals.
And I most definitely enjoyed this title, as I felt as if I had been somewhat directly inserted into an episode of Star Trek or something similar, playing the role of a protagonist whose decision making is imperative to the plot, somewhat like the Telltale game series, paired with a multifaceted gun design where you can change it from sniper shot to burst auto or shotgun abilities, as well as other neat tools like a lockpick and torch for cutting welds, along with psychic abilities to either read others' minds or even change the vibes of other NPCs within the game. They also actually utilized all of the best features of the PSVR2 hardware, such as eye tracking and excellent haptics all around. There's just so much on offer here in one title. It deserves your time and money, and you won't hear me say that very often.
It's Red Abyss. You don't want to mess with them. We should get out now.
I thought traders were supposed to be fearless.
And speaking of the NPCs, which are several, every one of them has such great overall implementation, from the facial and hand animations, as well as lip syncing, is all so next level, along with spectacular voice acting, helping to really immerse you within this extremely dialogue heavy narrative, where you also have several optional choices to make based on the responses that you give. Archiact really put something spectacular and memorable together here, and it's honestly just fucking tragic that this title didn't get the appreciation and love that it truly deserved. But hopefully, with this video, it will wake some of you up to this title. As I previously stated, I know little to nothing about Journey to Foundation, the series or books or whatever the fuck it is, but I do know games, particularly VR games, and I have also been an avid gamer since 1984. So obviously, most of my gaming lifetime has been spent playing flat games. And one of the best games that I can reference that feels even somewhat similar to this for comparison's sake, I would say this lightly shows me of what a Mass Effect game would be like in VR. At least that's kind of the feeling that I had while playing it. All in all, Journey to Foundation is just a stellar title that is enormous in scope as well as depth. That should be a requirement for all fans of big single player titles in VR. It offers a compelling story, and while it is heavily focused on narrative, it does provide just enough combat and other side activities and plenty of environmental changes to keep it from feeling stale. I'd say it's a must-own title, in my opinion.
What do you want, stranger?
Next up at number 5 on the list is Stilt, a highly entertaining and fun platformer where your legs are your spring-loaded arms as well, which can be upgraded to other cool things to help make playing just a bit easier, such as a gun, a magnet, helicopter blades, and a few other things. The goal here is to collect all these stamps and hidden or hard to reach gifts, which will grant you access to future worlds, as well as are used to give you new lives if you happen to die. And if you do die, you can either opt to spend 10 of the stamps that you found to have a new life, or spend 5 more stamps to get a new life, along with one random upgrade that you do not choose, but it does help you. And if you run out of stamps due to dying too much, it's game over for you. Stilt is easily one of the very best platformers that I have played in VR, and while it's no Astrobot or Max Mustard, Stilt, in my opinion, is certainly just as deserving of its spot within your library. It's generally some of the most fun I've had in VR and offers some really challenging areas. If you assumed it's just for the kids at first glance, well, think again, because this one can get quite tough to tackle at some points. It will take some practice and getting used to its mechanics at first. But once you do and you learn your capabilities, Stilt becomes a very addictively and fun platformer rather quickly. You guys definitely don't want to sleep on this one. I assure you, give Stilt a fair chance, and I think you'll love it. And at number 4, we have the utility room. This is such a strange and surreal experience, played more like a walking simulator more than anything else. However, it has such a twisted and unique use within the VR space that it is an experience that I highly recommend to all headset owners, especially with a good set of 3D headphones on. The utility room puts you directly behind the scenes in the creation of, well, everything. The universe, the cosmos, the existence of existence. Sort of like the backrooms of the ultimate creator, leaving you witness to the strangest oddities that you will likely ever see. There's just one rule, and that is you are a visitor. Don't fucking touch anything. While the utility room may not be perfect, its shortcomings are vastly outweighed by what it manages to absolutely nail. That being the scale and scope of, well, everything, and leaving you, the player, in a constant state of curiosity, shock and awe, and even fear and dread at every turn that you take. And if you are a victim of megalophobia, the fear of abnormally gigantic objects, then this will serve as pure nightmare fuel at times for you type of people. The utility room will have you continuously exploring strange new landscapes, each offering something so far fucking out in left field, you just sort of remain awestruck most of the time, trying to make sense of the senselessness or admiring the landscapes that will leave you breathless. For me personally, that is exactly the type of memorable experiences that I look forward to finding in VR. The abundance of strange oddities just made this one an extraordinary experience all around that is so much better to be played than to be shown or told about or explained. Looking for something different that'll leave a lasting impression on you? Well, look no further because you've definitely discovered exactly that with the utility room. Give this one a definite try. Okay, coming in at number 3 is Cube VR. What at first glance may resemble a Minecraft clone will surely find its comparisons justified. However, QVR is quite honestly one of the very best visual presentations I have ever seen on PSVR2, with its ambient lighting and shadow inclusions offering sunray effects with a day and night cycle being second to none. It's a huge open world crafting game that really emphasizes the VR nature that it strives to bring to you. One of the selling points for me was its physics, and I know this will sound a bit silly, but I was just sold the moment I realized I could cut a tree, and that tree would be cut exactly where and how I decided to cut it, which is a mechanic you just don't see often, if at all, as I cannot think of a single other title to put this level of detail into the physics. And while some aspects you'd think would be present seem to have been completely disregarded, such as how you can hunt animals, however, there's nothing to gain from it, like furs or meat. It's just senseless killing for the sake of it. I mean, I guess it's something to do, but I wish there was a little more depth to the whole hunting aspect. Okay, I guess we can all admit that is pretty fucking funny, but it doesn't offer much more than a laugh. Most of your objective is to run around and grab the question mark signs that you see all over, which give you access to more items to craft. Regardless, I've spent a few hours within this world crafting and mining, exploring and hunting, and it's just a brilliantly designed title that is visually just so fucking stunning. A beautiful game, being a very chill vibes type of game. And its day and night cycle can leave you amazed at times. I like to climb to the highest peaks I can find and just watch the ever changing landscape. It's almost therapeutic in a way. If you've ignored Cube because Minecraft just isn't your jam, I feel you on that. I don't fucking like Minecraft at all. But I have absolutely grown to love Cube VR. Now, I just wish that there were new mechanics, crafting items, and animals to hunt for a reason that would be added to the game. Maybe one day there will be. But for right now, what is available here, I can't complain. I'm pretty sure you won't either if you decide to pick Cube VR up and give it a shot, which I absolutely recommend you doing. Up next at number 2 is one of my favorite titles on PSVR2, which is Ghost Signal. Ghost Signal is a roguelite space defense game where you take control of one of 3 different ships to defeat and clear each level, allowing you to choose which path to travel, and offering a few great boss battles at the end. You can spend earned resources to upgrade weaponry and other things, playing until you are destroyed, at which time you can then purchase upgrades for your ship using research points gained through each playthrough, making your next run just that much more easier.
Captain, our scanners have located an abandoned excavation site on the surface. It can only be described as the entrance to a tomb. The initial readings were correct. Further investigation points to this complex being a crypt, with catacombs spiraling underground. The crew have discovered some valuables to bring back. Their scanners indicate...
You never know what you may encounter, from strange worlds to world-sized monsters and even flying clam enemies. With its procedurally generated runs, no two runs will ever be the same, offering literally unlimited replayability. The battles here can become pretty intense, as every decision is up to you to make. Which course to take, which enemy to lock onto, with which weapon you should use. It does take an acquired skill, but man, it's fucking satisfying once you get it all down. And it's really hard to show you on a shared flat screen what this game really allows you to do, but just know it's all in a 3D space, so there's depth and distance coming into play here within the PSVR2 headset itself. It all just looks fucking amazing playing this game. You definitely need to. It's a highly addictive title that is just so much fun to play, to the point I literally can't put it down. The next thing I knew, I had accidentally ended up ranking #1 in the world on the leaderboard. So, a humble brag, but yeah, I for real did that shit. If you don't own this one yet, I would definitely recommend changing that real soon, at least as soon as you're able to. Once you play this game a few times, I'm certain that same addiction will embrace you the same as it had done to me, which I didn't see coming, but I'm so glad that it found me. And just another thing to kind of note in here, and it is a bit saddening, but this was published by Fast Travel Games, who unfortunately recently had gone through a pretty bad string of layoffs within their industry. Let's all, wish them the best of luck, and hopefully they can recover so we can get more bangers like this put out by Fast Travel Games, who have added a lot into the VR spectrum. Once again, this is Ghost Signal on PSVR2. Make sure you pick this one up.
Well played, Captain.
And finally, we have reached #1 on my list, and there is good reason it is my #1 most slept on, underappreciated title on PSVR2, that being Very Bad Dreams. Holy shit, guys. I tell you, I bought this on sale and went into it completely blind on a video with very low expectations, which you can actually still watch for yourself after this video, of course, if you'd like to. But all I wanted or expected from it was to utilize VR in the best way possible and essentially give me an acid trip gone horribly wrong type of feeling with some horror elements, and god damn did it totally deliver in spades. I mean, I have never played anything quite like it before, but I can't say enough how grateful I am that this game even fucking exists. It's just an absolute shit show of a circus gone mad, and I fucking love it. One experience I got from this one is one I will never forget, but I walked into a room, just a normal looking room, walked around a bit and found a book. It wasn't shoved into my face, nothing telling me to even look at this nonchalant book's direction. But I found this book, and upon reading the cover, saw it was Alice in Wonderland. So I picked it up, then all of a sudden I started shrinking to the size of a fucking Smurf. I climbed up these legs of a giant chair, and then I crawled into a bed, and a gigantic spider crawled right out next to me, freaking me the fuck out. And it all looked just so damn good. It was the most trippy fucking nightmare fuel I've ever seen, and that is just one of so damn many unique encounters you will discover within this title. I definitely urge you to watch my previous Let's Play video I made on this title when it first released, just to sort of see what it's all about if you aren't quite sold on it yet, because I think you definitely will be, at least after that other video I've already done. Very Bad Dreams is criminally slept on, and that needs to change. Developers like this, with this level of creativity, deserve to be supported. Also, a brand new PSVR2 exclusive DLC has just been added recently, which is free, called Dean's Dream DLC, which further takes you down the rabbit hole of utter fucking insanity, even putting you into the body of a baby. And, well, it's just more of the same insane acid trip gone wrong experience that I absolutely love about Very Bad Dreams.
Daddy? Daddy?
Anyways, guys, that's gonna pretty much do it for this video. I'm gonna wrap it up here, and I hope that you enjoyed it as I enjoyed making it, and I really hope that you all picked up at least one or two of these titles that you don't already own, and at least give them a try. That was the entire point in making this video. So if you do pick something up based on my recommendation, make sure to comment and let me know which one or more you decided to pull the trigger on. I'd appreciate knowing that I helped make a difference in your selecting. Thank you for watching, and until next time, have fun, stay savage, keep gaming. I'm out, y'all. Peace!